Hello and welcome back to another review. This time we're going to be talking about Koe no Katachi. I said it fancy, probably all wrong, so please roast me. Written by Yoshitoki Oima. And she's also currently writing a book which is called To Your Eternity. It's a weird manga about this spirit soul slash alien thing. It takes over dead bodies or bodies that recently pass away, I think. And its journey through these entities. So kind of, because it takes them over, it lives their lives as if they never passed away. The first manga she ever made was Marduk Scramble, which was actually based on a light novel that she adopted into a manga. Silent Voice is pretty famous. It went on to win the Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prize, Eisner Award, and for the best U.S. edition of international material. So it was pretty popular when it first came out, and if you have the English manga, it says that like right on it. It was first published on August 7th of 2013, and then it ended November 19th, 2014, so it only lasted just like barely over a year. There's only 7 volumes and was released in Kodansha's Weekly Shonen magazine, so if you have any interest in it, it's a very kind of a quick pickup. You can get the whole series in a box set on Right Stuff, which is what I did because, box sets tend to be the best deal, especially during some of their sales. So you can even sometimes beat like Mercari, eBay, or Facebook Marketplace that way as well. And plus guarantee good quality or decent quality at the very least, because Kodansha, of course, typically has some mediocre quality to their books. The story is about Shoya Ishida, or Sho, as he's referred to in the manga, and Shoko Nishima. Shoko is how she's referred to in the manga as well, who's a deaf student. She's pretty much constantly bullied by Sho and his classmates as she's a new transfer student until the classmates begin to grow up, and then they kind of move away from Sho and they actually bully him as well as her. In order to redeem himself, Sho actually decides to kill himself right at the beginning of the book, but he finds the opportunity to, instead of wasting his life, actually make Shoko's life better by sacrificing himself. He thinks of this as a way to redeem himself, and then he'll kill himself after she's like happy. But because he sees her, he apologizes to her about the past, and he starts talking with her to see what she's been up to, and he just wants to make up for his poor childhood decisions. The story itself is somewhat cringy, but it's somewhat relatable also in that sense. You can look back on what a cringe lord you used to be, but now that you're the person you are, you can't believe who you were in order to get to this place. The story also can dig into some securities about how people kind of differ from each other. Like, some people can't believe they made such a bad joke in elementary school, and other people can't believe that they didn't make the same joke because it was so funny. So there's these different perspectives that you get on life that you may not have considered even today, as you live your life. So it's a pretty kind of an eye-opening manga to consider what other people think about when, they live and you live and interact. The manga also has a decent amount of deviation from the movie, apparently. I haven't actually seen the movie, but my girlfriend told me that there's these pretty different plot points. She doesn't always remember movies the best, though, in my opinion, so maybe she's, like, embellishing a little bit or misremembering something. But in any case, I haven't actually seen the movie. The best way to experience this story, in my opinion, is to actually read it, because you can take your time to process what's happening with each of these characters' minds, think about it. Whereas in the movie, you'd have to pause the movie and then you'd like never get it done to fully enjoy and think about it. Otherwise, you just like watch it go through. Your mind doesn't sometimes stop to think about things unless like you pause it to consider a few things. I felt as though the quality of the story was pretty much the same throughout the whole kind of the manga. I was constantly wondering what's going to happen next, the emotional melting pot of these teenagers and their anxieties and stuff like that. I also really enjoyed the art. It was like a little cartoony, but also a little realistic. That way they could have some slapstick, and then they could also have some serious moments as well. So it won't beat Vagabond, and the animation between the panels isn't quite as fluid as something like Dragon Ball's old school martial arts used to be. This may come as a surprise to some of you guys, but Dragon Ball actually used to be more of a martial arts manga than just a fighting beams explosions manga. If you haven't watched the old one, but it really grounds the story pretty perfectly. So I'm going to get into some spoilers here. I definitely think that, if you have made it to this point, that you should probably consider reading the manga if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in. And even if you don't kind of feel like you'd be interested in it, I would still consider reading it because it's something that everybody can really relate to, I would say. Skip to the end if you don't want to hear these spoilers to see the rating. But now we're going to jump into the spoilers. So I think that the story ended it in a really annoying way, actually. If I could change anything about the story, it'd be the ending, which apparently the manga does. I mean, the movie does, rather. So yeah, the movie changes it just a little bit, at least as far as I understand. Maybe it doesn't actually. I really feel like I should watch it, but I just haven't yet. I wanted Shoko and Sho to get together and be married, or at the very least start dating, and then they can go their own separate ways. So I was so annoyed when they just go their separate ways. I was like, what the heck? I also can't really understand why Shoko would try to kill herself in the middle of the story after Sho's done everything for her. Like, I get that there was this kind of a fight between the group, but it wasn't like, I don't know, ground-shattering or earth-breaking to me that I felt like she would want to kill herself. I feel like that actually the coma that she kind of puts him in would make her want to kill herself, but not the other way around. I feel like it's kind of a big stretch and kind of like a plot device to make it so that Sho actually does end up in a coma. It would have made more sense if it happened a little bit earlier in the story, but by this time that she actually tries to kill herself, it's like volume 6 and into volume 7. And she's already grown like a lot by then and had become like very strong emotionally, in my opinion anyways, or at least that's the sense I got of her. To see the main character also get sent into a coma was a super cool twist. It was nice to show how close his bonds had become with his friends, despite having that argument that I mentioned earlier. Though it was not trivial to them, they kind of realized it was like, in the grand scheme of things, didn't make any sense to stay mad at each other for it. So yeah, end spoilers here. I would wholeheartedly recommend this manga to anyone who has an interest in reading manga, period. I would say it's definitely okay for a newcomer to even pick up as well. Like, if you're like, what should I start with? I feel like this would be, a decent manga to start with also. It also shows a lot of insight to the psychology of humanity, by giving you the other people's perspectives and being so vocal about it. So I'd give this one a 4.5 bowls of spaghetti. I've put a bit of thought into it. I would actually also give it meatballs and Parmesan as well, not just the meatballs in this story. So that makes it quite a bit better than the Assassinations Classroom, in my opinion. It really just it's just like a different breed of school manga. So it's kind of nice to have these two reviews back to back, in my opinion. So you can kind of see two different viewpoints. One's a supernatural Assassination Classroom type. The other one's kind of more grounded. I would personally think that I would like Assassination Classroom more, but Assassination Classroom takes its time, really. And this manga doesn't really have any filler or fluff. It's just, exactly what you want. It's like the whole meal, no filler, no Naruto filler, Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video content, and I'll make more. Otherwise, I'll see you probably on Monday with another unboxing. Bye.